On today's Daily Slab, we are going to be looking at some fellow Americans who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country on this Memorial Day. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's Daily Slab. Welcome everyone to the Daily Slab. I am Nate, and today is Memorial Day, and obviously today is the day where we sit back as Americans. We have off of work, generally most of us, and we take a moment to reflect on those who have given their lives for this country in the armed services, whether that is at home or abroad. Those who have given their lives for you and me who are watching this. Unless you're watching this from a different country, then you can place those Americans with people from your own country that have given their lives for your country, right? Whether it be America or somewhere else, it all rings true the same, is that people give their lives so that you and I can sit here watching this, listening to this today, or being able to do something like a video like this today, right? And so I thought it would be neat to take a moment to look at some of the athletes, professional athletes or otherwise, who have given their lives in service to the United States of America, paying the ultimate sacrifice. And so while this is not an all-encompassing list, because the list is very long, here are a number of people that have given their lives to this country. I would implore you, if you are interested, to look up more lists online, because there is much more than the 5 people we are going to cover today, the 5 men we are going to cover today. So if you want to learn more, you can look up lists on Google and find out more about these gentlemen. But they did give their lives for this country. They left athletics behind. They left professional careers, and they joined the military. And quite the sacrifice on their end. So let's look at them. Obviously, number 1 on the list is Pat Tillman. How could it not be? He is the one that most people really remember. And most people watching this, or I would venture to guess almost everyone watching this, was probably alive for that one, whereas they might not have been alive for most of the other ones. So Pat Tillman, obviously, he was the starting strong safety for the Cardinals, and a very good player at that. Had a 100-plus tackle season in 2000. He was the starting safety for the Cardinals in his 3rd and 4th year in 2000 and 2001. And then 9/11 happened, and he decided with his brother to leave the NFL. His brother wasn't in the NFL, but he left the NFL, and him and his brother signed up to serve in the U.S. Army. He ended up becoming a Ranger, which is incredibly impressive, to go through Ranger school and become a Ranger. And he was deployed to Afghanistan, where he ended up losing his life on April 22nd, 2004. He passed away due to friendly fire. And obviously, we all know the Pat Tillman story. We all have heard it. And it's tragic, obviously, especially because of friendly fire. But that doesn't deaden any of the courage and heroics it took to leave the NFL, to leave a contract. He left a Cardinals contract extension on the table to join the military, to sacrifice his potential wealth and livelihood and safety to go fight for his country that had just endured a terrible, terrible event. And so he lost his life, but just a hero, truly a hero. The other men on the list you may not have heard of, so while we have heard of Pat Tillman, the other guys maybe not so much. Number 2 on the list is Bob Kalsu, or Kalsu, Kalsu. And Bob was an All-American at Oklahoma who was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. In fact, he was pretty good with the Buffalo Bills. He was reportedly voted as their Rookie of the Year for the team. Not for the NFL, but for the team. Bob was the Rookie of the Year for them. And he left after his rookie season in 1968 to join the U.S. Army Airborne, which is quite bold. I wouldn't want to be jumping out of an airplane and getting shot at, right? But he did. He joined it in 1969 and then ended up in Vietnam late 1969 and then lost his life in July of 1970 in Vietnam, which obviously, if you know anything about wars, Vietnam War was not appreciated by the American people, and Vietnam veterans and those guys who served were not necessarily given a hero's welcome home or anything like that, but Bob did give his life for his country in a war that, even though people didn't agree with, he still gave his life for his country. Next up is Hobey or Hobby. I'm not 100% sure. Hobey Baker, probably. He served way back when, World War I. And he grew up in a prominent Philadelphia family, grew up in wealth, and went to Princeton. Prestigious college. Princeton was one of the best amateur hockey players in the country, if not the best amateur hockey player in the country, at Princeton in college, and then with the St. Nicholas Hockey Club. Won multiple championships with those clubs. He was an incredible hockey player. He was also an incredible football player. He played football at the same time and was in fact inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, and he was in the first class of the Hockey Hall of Fame and the first American inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. He was considered to be the first American hockey superstar ever. And pretty sure that's accurate because the award for the best hockey player in college is named after him. Like an MVP award, but it's the Hobey Baker Award. So very, very incredible backstory there. Well, he joined up the Army in 1916 and ended up losing his life in 1918. He was supposed to be coming home. He had just, December 21st, 1918, he had just received orders to come home. He went up for one last flight on a plane that had just been repaired, a test flight to see if it was functioning, and the engine failed, ended up crashing, and he ended up, his fellow soldiers got him out of the plane, but he ended up dying in the ambulance on the way to the field hospital. So a tragic end to a man who was one of the best college athletes maybe ever, considering he is in the Hall of Fame for 2 different sports. But he gave his life for his country, and he didn't have to go up. From what I understand, he didn't have to go up in that last test flight, but he did anyways. Fourth on the list is Al Blozis. So Al was a college football player and a star shot putter in college, I guess, for Georgetown. He ended up apparently winning 3 straight indoor and outdoor championships for shot put, which is amazing. He went on to play right tackle for the New York Giants after getting drafted, and he ended up being an all-star his rookie season in 1942, and then an all-pro at right tackle in 1943. So we're not talking about a guy who just played a random game or two. He was one of the best at his position, if not the best at his position, second year in. And he left that to go fight in World War II. In 1944, he ended up joining up with the United States Army, and on January 31st, 1945, while he was in the Vosges Mountains of France, I don't know how to pronounce it, Vosges, while he was in those mountains, a couple of his fellow soldiers went missing. He went looking for them and never returned. Apparently, his body was found later on and sent back. But he passed away looking for his fellow soldiers. I'm not 100% sure how it happened, but he gave his life not only for his country, but also for his fellow men, and made even more impressive by the fact that he was one of the best players at his position, and he still walked away from it all to serve his country. And then lastly, we've got Jack Lummus. Now, Jack, he was a defensive end for the Giants, but that's not what makes him special. What makes him special, Marine Corps first lieutenant. He was in charge of a platoon, and his platoon was under heavy fire from 3 different pillboxes on Iwo Jima. But that did not stop him. He apparently led a one-man charge against those pillboxes and took out all 3, despite getting knocked down by a grenade and then getting another grenade that exploded close to him and getting shrapnel in his arm and shoulder. He still went on and took out all 3 pillboxes so that his platoon could keep advancing forward. Unfortunately, he ended up stepping on a landmine a little time after that. lost his legs, and then later on lost his life in the field hospital while they were doing surgery on him. But he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest award to any service member, for his heroics in leading that one-man charge against those pillboxes to help the rest of his platoon move forward. Likely saved many, many, many lives that day. And while he gave up his own life, he saved a lot of lives, and he served his country and received the highest award for it. So Jack Lummus, what an absolute story there. And those are just 5 men that have given their lives for their country that were professional athletes. Obviously, there's more professional athletes who have done that. There's more professional athletes who served time and did not lose their lives. And there's many people that were not professional athletes that have lost their lives in the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the National Guard. And so we thank them for their service so that we have the ability to do what we are doing today right here. And also, if you know a loved one who passed away or a friend who passed away, I'm sure it's not an easy day for you, and from war. And so, if you are dealing with that, we thank you for your friend's service. We thank, especially if it's your family for giving whether it be a spouse or a brother or a sister, aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, son, daughter, mom, dad, whatever it might be. Thank you, from SlabStox to your family, for your family members' sacrifice and helping us to be able to do what we are doing today, which is freedom to choose what we want to do, and that is listening to this video, I guess. So thank you, everyone, for watching this. I hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day. Take a moment to realize the blessings we have in this country and in this life, and that is given to us not only by God, but also through the help of people that are willing to give up their lives for us. So thank you, everyone, for watching this today, and you all have a blessed Memorial Day.